How did you, get into financial consulting?
Department of Labor statistics indicate it's one of the fastest growing professions. Actuarial sciences are experiencing tremendous growth as well.
Okay. I like the balance of it. You know, I like finding things that aren't obvious. Plus, my dad was an accountant. He actually, you know, he had the whole shtick. The, you know, the little amortization book and the green eye shade, and the, like, dorky pocket protector, and...
I have a pocket protector.
That's a nice one. I mean, his was dorky. Yours is nice.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. As you can see, it's a fairly miserable Tuesday afternoon. It's sort of mizzling and dreary and wet. This is exactly the kind of time you think, well, you know what? I'll go to the cinema. I'll be transported away from all this misery and grimness by going to see a really exciting movie called something like The Accountant. Yes, that's right. The new Ben Affleck film, which is in cinemas now, is called The Accountant. One of those titles that really makes you think, do I really want to go and see a film called The Accountant? Now, luckily, he's not just an accountant. He does lots of other sort of runny, jumpy, punchy, shooty things as well. However, I thought this was a very good opportunity to give you my top 10 least inspiring movie titles. So at number 10, Arbitrage, a film which I really like, but let's face it, who on earth knows what arbitrage actually means? In fact, the reason I included this in this list was that when I was doing a bit of research on the internet, I came across a site called 25 Movie Titles More Boring Than Arbitrage. At number 9, a thriller entitled The Constant Gardener, based on a novel by John le Carre called The Constant Gardener, directed by Fernando Meirelles. Actually a pretty decent film, but still called The Constant Gardener. Still, it's kind of a little bit better than Conversations with My Gardener. On to number 8, and Alan Rudolph's excitingly entitled The Secret Lives of Dentists. I mean, funnily enough, it is actually about dentists and their secret lives, and it's based on a novella which is called The Age of Grief, after which The Secret Lives of Dentists sounds positively upbeat. In at number 7, a first appearance by Ben Affleck, who directs and stars in The Town. Now, The Town is based on a novel called Prince of Thieves, and I can understand why they don't want to call it Prince of Thieves, because of all that business with Robin Hood and, you know, Bryan Adams and loving you and doing whatever he does for you. But The Town? I mean, really, The Town? Which brings us to number 6, and Jumper, the science fiction film that sounds like an article of clothing, and a really boring article of clothing at that. It's one of those films like M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. It just doesn't work in certain territories. Which brings us to the top 5, and at number 5, The Happening. Look, the Supremes can get away with it, but not Mark Wahlberg and not M. Night Shyamalan. Worse still, at number 4, a film by Gods of Egypt director Alex Proyas called Knowing, a title which positively invites the criticism, it's better not to. Into the top 3, and at number 3, Ridley Scott's A Good Year, based, it has to be said, on a book called A Good Year, but a film which, when I came out, somebody said, what did you think? I said, well, it felt like we've been in there a good year. Into the top 2, and it was a really tough title fight with the top 2, but at number 2, The Postman, the least inspiringly titled dystopian fantasy imaginable. Worth it, however, for the fact that my friend John Norton was able to write the magazine headline Post-Apocalyptic Pat. All of which brings us to the top spot, the most boringly named film imaginable. And of course, there was only ever one obvious winner, John Carter. The film which Disney executives thought sounded better as John Carter than John Carter of Mars. Because hey, no one wants to see a film about Mars, but everyone wants to see a film about some bloke called John Carter.
You are John Carter of Earth?
Yes, ma'am.
So there you go, my top 10, or should that be bottom 10 list of most uninspiring movie titles. I didn't even get in things like Quantum of Solace, or Changing Lanes, or Attack of the Clones, a title so limp that Ewan McGregor couldn't say it without laughing. What did I miss? What are your standout favourites? Let me know.